Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something we've all felt, but maybe haven't really understood. We're talking about how our favorite brands turn us from just customers into loyal soldiers in their brand armies. I mean, think about it. Have you ever felt that little surge of pride when you see someone else wearing your favorite sneaker brand? Or maybe that flash of irritation when somebody dares to diss your phone? Yeah, if you have, you're not just defending a product. You're defending a piece of yourself, right? A piece of your tribe. And let me tell you, that feeling, it is no accident. See, we tell ourselves this really comforting story. We like to believe that we choose our favorite brands, like a Nike or an Apple, based on logic, on quality or features or the price tag. We see ourselves as these rational consumers, these independent thinkers, free agents making our own way.
But what if that feeling, that sense of independent choice, what if it's just an illusion? What if that fierce loyalty we feel isn't something we just found, but something that was carefully, systematically, and kind of brilliantly built for us?
Okay, so to really get how this works, we've got to look under the hood of our own minds. Let's dig into this powerful gap between why we think we make a choice and the real reasons that are pulling the strings behind the scenes.
All right, so we're basically operating on two different levels. On the surface, right, we use logic. We tell ourselves, oh, I bought these Nike shoes for the great arch support. Or, I picked this phone because the camera is amazing. But underneath all that, there's a much deeper, emotional need driving the bus. We don't just choose the shoes. We choose them to signal that we're part of a tribe, the tribe of athletes. We choose the phone to prove our identity as a creative type. See, it's not really about the features. It's about belonging.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Our intelligence, it turns out, isn't really a searchlight we use to find the truth. Nope. It's more like a shield we use to defend our spot in the tribe. So when someone criticizes our favorite brand, our brain's first job isn't to figure out who's right. Its first job is to protect our sense of belonging.
And this need to defend our tribe, it's not some modern flaw in our thinking. It's a feature. It's wired deep into our DNA. It all comes from this primal, really powerful hunger to belong.
I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, being part of a group meant you survived. Being cast out, being alone, that was basically a death sentence. So our brains evolved under that immense pressure. And what that means is, when we're faced with a choice between a truth that might isolate us and an error that connects us, our survival instinct just screams, choose connection. Just think about what this really means. Our own biology makes standing alone feel like a physical threat, and that creates this intense psychological vulnerability, one that could be exploited by anyone or any brand that comes along and offers us that incredibly intoxicating feeling of safety in numbers. So this deep human vulnerability, it's not just some psychological quirk anymore. Oh no. It is the literal foundation of a modern playbook, a step-by-step guide that savvy brands are using to engineer our loyalty. And this isn't random. It's a really deliberate three-step strategy. It's designed to completely bypass your logic and forge an emotional bond that feels, well, unshakable. First, they show you the crowd. Then, they show you yourself. And finally, they lock it all.
Okay, step one, they surround you. They use this powerful mental shortcut called social proof. By making a product seem like it's everywhere. I mean, on every social feed, every billboard, every street corner, they trigger this deep-seated feeling that, hey, this must be the correct choice. It's just the path of least resistance for our brains.
And this is exactly why social proof is so effective. It takes a simple consumer choice and turns it into this high-stakes social decision. Going against the crowd feels risky, doesn't it? Being the one person without that popular phone or those shoes, it just sets off this little primal alarm bell in your head. It feels so much safer to just conform.
Next up is maybe the most potent tactic of them all, mirroring. This is the moment where brands stop selling you products and start selling you an identity. They start adopting your values, your language, even your politics. Just think about how a company like Nike aligns itself with athletes who are all about social justice. They're not just selling shoes, they're mirroring the values of an entire generation, reflecting an identity of courage and rebellion right back at their target customers.
And that's the absolute genius of mirroring. It just slides right past our logical defenses, because it doesn't feel like a sales pitch, does it? It feels like being seen, like being understood. You think, wow, finally, a brand that actually gets me. And right there, in that moment of connection, your loyalty is forged.
And then, finally, this whole process gets automated and basically put on steroids. The algorithms on social media, they learn exactly what kind of content resonates with your identity, the values, the politics, the whole aesthetic of your tribe, and then they create a perfectly curated little reality just for you. It's an echo chamber where your brand-aligned identity gets reinforced over and over and over, and any dissenting opinion, well, you just never see it.
So yeah, this sense of belonging feels amazing. But here's the thing, it is not free. There's a transaction happening here, and a lot of the time, we don't even consciously consent to it. And what we're paying with, it's way more valuable than money.
This right here, this is the unspoken deal. We give away our data, our unwavering loyalty, and ultimately a piece of our own identity. And what do we get in return? We get convenience, yeah. We get validation. And we get that addictive, warm and fuzzy sense of belonging. We're trading a little bit of who we are for the comfort of knowing where we belong. And the real danger here is how subtle it all is. This isn't one big dramatic moment where you sell your soul. No, it's a slow erosion. It's made up of 1,000 tiny little compromises, 1,000 small acts of just aligning yourself with the tribe until one day you look up and the line between your identity and the brand's identity, it's just completely vanished.
Okay, this might all sound a little bleak, but it's really not a call to be cynical. Actually, it's the total opposite, because awareness is the antidote. Once you can see the playbook, you can start to reclaim your own mental sovereignty. So how do we actually do that?
All right, here are 5 practical tools for autonomy. First, start questioning the why behind your loyalty. Like, really ask yourself, is this about the product or is it about the tribe? Second, when you see a brand perfectly reflecting your values, stop and ask, who benefits from this connection? Third, intentionally break your echo chamber. Go find smart people you disagree with and listen. Fourth, unplug from the algorithm sometimes and just let yourself be bored. It's amazing what thoughts can bubble up. And maybe most important of all, find real belonging with real people offline in the real world.
And that's the real goal here. This isn't about rejecting all groups. Come on, we're human. We need our tribes to thrive. No, this is about empowerment. It's about shifting from being an unconscious recruit in some brand's army to becoming a conscious, deliberate member of a community that you have chosen for yourself. So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. If your identity is built from the brands you buy and the online tribes you join, who really owns you? In a world where your very identity can be marketed and sold back to you, maybe knowing who you are, completely independent of what you buy, is the most rebellious act of all.